There we go.
Well, welcome to tonight's show. You're with Tom Brown and Steve, and this is NRL from the Sidelines. And as we do it every time this week, we're going to talk about the round of NRL that's just been played. Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
Good.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yes, let me digress for a moment. We should have a conversation here.
Excuse us.
My sister has been over in the States for a while, and my niece has come back to Australia, and she brought back a present that I thought you guys might like.
That is the ugliest thing.
You know what? I think he should leave it on.
For the whole show.
Absolutely.
I think that is sensational.
So I'm trying to work out, is it a pigeon?
Don't.
It's an eagle.
Is it a...
Don't.
It's a what?
It's an eagle.
No, it's not an eagle.
It is an
It's
eagle.
an eagle.
So
It's got a hook nose.
No, but the crest, the brown crest, the eagle's bald
Tom,
eagle.
work with me.
The bald eagle has a white head and a brown crest.
If you change the shape of the eyes, it could be a turtle. It could just be a really ugly.
man, it's hot in there. Let me just tell you.
A really ugly snowman, and I bet it stinks in there too.
It does. So yeah. So next year at Brookvale, I'll be wearing my
For about a minute and a half.
So,
For about a minute and a half.
Like all things with Manly, it stinks.
Ooh, that's hurtful.
People get cocky when they're winning, don't they?
That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts.
That
They
hurts.
get
Steve.
cocky.
You better put it back on again.
That hurts.
That.
Oh, come on, let's talk about the football. Enough of that. I just thought I'd bring that in.
I enjoyed it. Thanks so much, bro. Thank you.
Just for a bit of a lark.
Bit of lightheartedness.
I tell you
That's the way.
You enjoyed it. If you come in tomorrow or next time with a Roosters one, and you're going to wear that one, I'm out of here.
You can wear your big Sam Burgess
Well,
head.
then we don't have to talk about the Rabbitohs then. That'll be good.
Yeah, that's a hard life. See what I have to put up with. It's a very hard life. Interesting round of results this week. First week of the semi-finals and fascinating round. I mean, all the winners that you expected to, all the favourites won.
Yep. And interestingly, in every game, the underdogs got out to a lead, and then the eventual winners clawed their way back. It was interesting.
It was.
And it was a carbon copy.
Yeah.
Every single game was exactly the same.
Mind you, I was thinking, sitting at ANZ yesterday, I was thinking, it's happened in 3 games. It'll be our luck that it just won't be our game that'll do it. But yeah, they did it.
I missed the first 8 minutes of the Souths Newcastle game.
Well,
I turned it on and I went,
It was a carbon
what
copy.
the?
Yeah.
What?
Well, it goes back to round 10. I mean, in round 10, they did exactly the same thing, and we just.
But it was
couldn't come
interesting.
back.
There was a turning point in each of those games.
Every single game.
Where I don't know what happened. The team that was leading just switched off, and the team that wasn't switched on, and it was something simple, you know. Anyway,
Yes. Well, let's talk about these games here,
Yes.
Steve.
So let's start at Panthers Stadium on the Friday night, where the Panthers and the Roosters played in 29-28. Honestly, at this stage, you would have thought, well, early in the game, the Roosters were ahead, what, 12-0?
10-0.
10-0?
10-0. Yep.
Then the Panthers started coming back, and you thought the Panthers were then going to run away with it because they were hot.
Well, the turning point was
Half
Brett
time.
Morris tried to head for the line, for the Panthers line, and 5 of them pulled him over the sideline. And from that moment, for the next 20 minutes, that was the second quarter, they were just on fire. So it was like flick the switch. You know, they sort of seemed to click into gear. Same thing happened in round 1. We were leading 12-0, and they went away and won that game. Not by as much, but. They seemed to click into gear after that. So, look, I thought that middle 20 from the Panthers was sensational. I mean, Luai and Cleary were just on fire.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
What they can do on the football field lately is just unbelievable.
And so they got out to 28-10 lead just after half time, and I thought the game was clearly over.
Yeah.
But I've got to give it to the Roosters. They dug in and clawed their way back. They ended up. It was a 7-point lead with Cleary kicking a field goal, and it looked a little bit out of reach at that point. And it just unfortunately got to about 2 minutes to go when Angus Crichton barged over for a try. and just it wasn't enough time for us to think. If it had gone maybe 3 or 4 minutes later, I think there was a chance that the Roosters would have got them, because they were starting to really get the ascendancy.
It was interesting towards the end of that game where I think it was 28-22.
Yep.
The Panthers got a penalty.
Yep.
Didn't kick for touch.
Yes.
And yet, within a set or two later, they're kicking a field goal.
And they didn't take the
Sorry,
two.
didn't take the two is what I meant.
Yeah.
Which is strange. Yeah, you're 28-22. You've got about 5-7 minutes to go. You choose not to do that. So, did they start to panic and then say, "Well, we better take a field goal now"? Because
I think that's the confidence of Cleary to say, "You know what? I'll nail the field goal."
Yep.
I think that's just the confidence of the team.
We were talking about it through the game because we were all there watching it, and there's an arrogance about Penrith that I know.
No. Tom thinks there's an
some
arrogance
people
about
call it
Penrith.
confidence.
I think
I think they do have an incredible confidence, and they deserve to be confident. There's no
but
doubt.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with it, because the last 2 years the Roosters have had that same sort of arrogance where we are unbeatable and we are here to make a noise. I think a team that wins a competition has to have that sort of an arrogance.
The only thing I took issue was when Crichton scored the try. Kyle Flanagan made a routine tackle on him, and as he was trying to get off, they rolled over, and then all of the Panthers players came flooding in and started to pick on Kyle Flanagan, and I thought that was out of line. That's what I was.
He was hanging on.
He was hanging on to him.
Well, the momentum was that he got down, the ball went down, and he tried to get off him.
Yeah, I get it, but he was hanging on.
He was trying to roll off him.
But he didn't roll off.
But in the end, I thought the Panthers' reaction was over the top, and I just thought, to me, that stunk of a bit of arrogance. But look, there was heat of the moment. We were losing. I'll accept the fact that if I was feeling a bit emotional, but nevertheless, the Panthers. The Panthers were really good in the middle of the game, but I still have some hope with my team. That the thing that concerns me is we have to do it the hard way. They're an ageing team. They were looking a bit tired. I don't know what the future holds. But look, the Panthers deserve their week off.
And on that note, there's been a few people come out this week and say exactly that the Roosters are looking tired.
Yeah.
Their ageing roster is starting to catch up with them. Because this year there's been no bye.
Yep.
So you haven't had the break.
And like every other team, I'll grant that they have had to deal with an enormous number of injuries, and they've come through the other end having done that. But I think that's taken a toll.
Yeah, because I must admit, I agree. I think they're looking tired, and I think they're looking a bit flat. They're not getting away with the stuff they used to do. They're not getting the meters they used to do.
But the one thing I think they do have is character. Well, I'm not saying the other teams don't, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the Roosters have a mindset of just not giving in, and it works for them, is what I guess I'm saying. I'm not trying to suggest anybody else doesn't, but what works for them is this character that says we're not giving in, and they didn't, and I was really pleased. Yeah, I don't know what happened the week before. I have no idea.
I'm going to ask you a question. Is Keary still the best 5'8" going around? Because I know Tom will say yes.
Well,
and I think he's pretty close. But I tell you, I think he's been struggling the last few weeks.
I agree. Well, it was my question.
Yeah.
My question. No.
Yeah.
Is the simple answer. I think he is behind
Cody Walker,
behind Luai.
Behind Luai.
I think I'd probably put him after those two at the moment. And I actually think there's a bit of a gap between them at the moment.
So what's changed? Is it? I mean, he hasn't had Cooper Cronk for this year, but they were on fire early in the year. Forwards not moving forward. Is it?
Yeah, I do think it comes down. It comes back to well, look, they're back-to-back premiers. No one expected that, and they are the team that has the biggest target on their back. And so, therefore, I think that's made it hard for them. And traditionally teams don't win more than one because everybody goes harder at them. Yeah. I think they've gone harder at them. It is an ageing roster, and I think it's going to tell.
My personal feeling is I think that Keary is still up there, but I think the difference is his opportunities are less because the team isn't performing.
Yeah.
I think Cody Walker is allowed the opportunities. And look, there's no doubt he's sensational, but he's allowed the opportunities because the team is playing better.
And that's my point. I think the Rooster forwards are not dominating like they used to.
And I don't think. Look, Luai is growing into an amazing player. I still think he's below the other two because I don't think he's got as much in his game yet. I think he's still maturing.
So we'll kick out, get off.
I don't think he's got his game management. He doesn't have to because Cleary is there.
Just one last thing before we answer that question. I disagree because I actually think that Luai was man of the match. He was head and shoulders above everyone else there. And
I don't doubt that.
And Cleary got the official man of the match. He scored a hat trick and kicked 4 goals and the winning field goal it turned out. But every time the attack always went to Luai first. He has the option then.
That's not correct. It was his last tackle options where those tries were scored.
Yeah.
He came out in the last tackle options.
But the thing is, it goes to Luai, and then the decision is made to go to Cleary or not. Like, he gets first call. Yeah. He's just smart enough to go, hands off. He set some of those tries up. I thought he was exceptional.
There's no doubt that he was man of the match on that night. But we're talking about that one night, and we're now comparing the 5/8 from the whole season. And so I think that's an unfair.
I think he's been like that for the last 3 months.
Okay. All right. We'll kick out, get off.
No.
I don't think he should. I think it would be. It's terrible. It's terrible timing. But I think he deserves a week off.
Okay, because he's going to fight it. Mm-hmm. Either way,
and
he loses. It's
Nick Gabar, who got Slater off in 2018.
Yeah, but Nick Gabar didn't get someone off a week ago. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, let's go on to GIO Stadium where the Raiders beat the Sharks 32-20 after being down, ironically, 12-0.
I only saw the highlights.
Oh, sorry, no, this is 14-8. They were down on this one.
I only saw the highlights because we had people over for dinner. So I'm sorry.
Well, it's disappointing.
But again, the same thing happened.
Yeah.
Sharks got out to a lead.
This game was disgusting.
It was an average game.
It was an average game with average refereeing.
Yeah.
Who was the ref?
Let's not bag the refs.
Atkins.
It was dead set the worst, one of the worst refereeing games.
So let's talk about
the first one.
Well, the big decision.
Depends which one that is.
The quick tap.
Well, I don't think that was the big decision. I think the big decision was Bateman not being binned.
Yes.
What did he do?
What did he do? Because I reckon.
Well, you go through it because I actually want to talk about the other one
because they don't show that.
That's the one I'm remembering.
No, go ahead. Oh, Bateman. Cronulla attacking the line. Bateman. They put in a kick. Bateman moves over, sticks out his leg.
Oh, that was a trip. I think I saw that in the highlights.
And regardless of whether he interfered with the player coming through.
Absolutely.
Regardless of whether you think it was a trip or not, or whether he was planning and putting his body weight down.
Yeah.
And there was nothing.
Yeah.
It was a penalty. No, you know what? I'm sorry. That's 10 in the bin every single game.
It should have.
And at that time, Cronulla are 2 tries up, and that would have been 3.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think that was the point in the game. Like at that point, Cronulla hung with them from there on in, but very shortly after that, the Raiders started to get back into the game. And so I thought that was a telling moment in the game that was absolutely shocking.
See, I think the worst one was the one that happened later on, where I'm just trying to think now, where the Raiders get a penalty. No, there was a problem with the play the ball.
Was Whiten inside the 10? Is that what the problem was?
No, he took a quick tap.
It was a quick tap.
But he was within 10 metres of the line, wasn't he?
No, well, he was outside the 10.
Oh, okay.
But he took a quick tap. You've got Wade Graham coming out to say, I want to challenge this.
Yeah.
He's already out of the line.
Walking towards the ref with his arm out.
And he's got his arm out saying, I want to challenge.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, Whiten takes a quick tap.
And scores.
Runs past Graham, who's looking to the ref.
That's right. Now, at that point, the ref should have said, okay, stop right here.
Yep.
Let's first deal with the challenge before we go to the try. But he kept saying, no, we're not doing that. And then went straight to the try.
That sounds like an ordinary decision.
Well, it was. Firstly, because whether they would have won the challenge or not is irrelevant.
But the rest of the momentum.
What his argument was, but that's not a point at which you can challenge.
Yeah.
That's okay. But to have allowed him to come out and make the challenge, but allowed play to go on is very unfair.
Yeah. Considering it hasn't happened all year.
No.
And so I don't. It was, And
so here's the thing: we have to stop quick taps.
Or we have to allow them. Well, I don't mind.
Yeah, neither do I, because we seem to have some allowed for something and others are not for something else, and it really is confusing. I mean, we don't know. It doesn't look like the players know when you're allowed to take a quick tap or when you're not. But I tell you what, if you're going to have a challenge system like this, you can't then allow people to take quick taps in case of a challenge. And this is exactly why you can't do that.
Does the ref have to call a different type of penalty that doesn't allow the quick tap? Is there something that needs to say?
Well, no, he's already given the penalty.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Given the penalty,
does he need to
ref,
say
I
no
want
quick
to
tap?
challenge it.
Because often they'll take off and he says, no quick tap.
Correct. So in what basis is there a quick tap and which isn't?
Yeah,
no one seems to know when a quick tap is allowed and when it's not.
Honestly, okay. That was terrible. And overall, the refereeing in that game was pretty terrible as well.
Well, that's disappointing because I think Grant Atkins has been one of the best refs all year.
I do too.
So do I. Yeah. But he does also have a bit of an arrogance about him. The challenge.
He lets the game flow.
There was another incident. Was it the same? Oh, that's right. No, there was another incident where he called 6 again.
No, that was the South game.
Oh, that was
coming.
That was coming. Sorry.
Yeah. But that was interesting because the touch judge made the mistake on that one, not Cummins.
Anyway, I just, you know what? I thought the Raiders were going to win that game, and I was surprised. And just the general refereeing in that game, if you are a Sharks supporter, I think you are justifiable in saying, I think that we got a little bit dudded.
And it was 2 tries. So you take away Whiten's try, and you allow the
Sharks try.
Allow the Sharks try, and look, it starts to even up.
Well, I got to tell you, I think the Sharks. I think the Raiders were always going to win.
Right.
Although they were down 14-8, 14-6, they still. I think they were. I think they were playing well enough because straight after this contentious one, I mean, Whiten then scores. White scored.
White
caught the ball. Caught the ball. Looked like it was going to get knocked out of his hands. Didn't he? Put it down.
Oh, look.
I think they were always going to win, but it would have been a hell of a lot
momentum can do though.
Yeah. And it was both of those incidents were big momentum killers.
Yeah.
So
anyway, Sharky's gone.
Yep. Quick question, Steve. Chad Townsend. Is he any good? Is he one of the better halfbacks?
He has been.
Has been in the past. I think he's getting a bit old.
Yeah.
That game was very average.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that I'm a huge stats person. No, but Chad Townsend just could not grab a hold of that game.
Mm-hmm.
He just seemed and I should say for all those out there that are probably listening for the first time, because there's millions. I like halves and 5/8 that take the ball to the line, and Chad Townsend's just a link man.
It's just passes. That's right.
You know Sean Johnson.
You know instantly that Townsend is just looking for a runner.
But what Tom says is correct. No Sean Johnson. He's the runner.
Yeah.
Townsend's but he was also organising
Johnson's
things as well with Chad Townsend out.
I think he's a good. I don't think he's in the top 6 to be honest with you, but I think he's a good solid halfback.
Was Wade Graham playing in the halves last week?
Yeah.
Right. 5'8". Anyway,
okay. Look. No, Connor Tracy played 5'8".
Connor Tracy, yeah.
Sorry.
And he's an emerging talent. I think. He's
absolutely.
So do I. I think a couple of years he'll be one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Without doubt.
Anyway, it was disappointing. Yeah. If you lose in those circumstances, you come around frustrated.
But you know what? The Raiders did enough. They did what they had to do. They won the game. They move on to the
next
week.
They upped the momentum when they needed to.
They did. So let's move on then to the Suncorp Stadium game where the Melbourne Storm beat the Parramatta Eels 36-24. Parramatta get out to 12-0 lead.
Yep.
And then here come Melbourne.
Yeah. The thing that always amazes me in Melbourne is their blinding speed. You know, they just break the line, and there's Pappenhausen, there's Addo-Carr, and there's Olam, and even the slow Kenny Bromwich had a blinder. Because he was in the right place at the right time.
But it's more than that. I don't think it's necessarily their speed. I mean, Addo-Carr is by far and away he's unbelievable.
Well,
Pappenhausen's quick, but there's I don't think there's a dozen that are as quick as Pappenhausen. Though.
Yeah, but they're all on the left edge. That's the thing.
The thing with Melbourne is the speed at which they play the game.
Yeah.
I know everybody out there in fandom is, Melbourne slow the game down, they do. And they get away with it.
They slow down in defence, but in attack.
But in attack, they just do everything at such speed.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a Melbourne fan by any stretch of the imagination. Sorry, Sally. But my goodness,
I think she knows.
Yeah.
They go faster than anyone else.
They do.
Yeah.
And it's not the breakdown, and it's when play breaks down, that's when Bellamy gets upset, and I get that because he doesn't have I don't think there's an exceptional game plan with Melbourne. They just do it with speed and precision.
Yeah.
And it works.
And they can make line breaks in a heartbeat. I mean the Panthers did that as well, but the line breaks. In fact, I see a lot of similarities between the Panthers and the Storm in their attack, I think, at the moment, particularly through the middle. Yeah.
What do you think of Cameron Smith's tackle? Where he upended?
I should have been gone for the season, honestly.
You go above the horizontal, you get a week.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any point in arguing it. So.
And he's always going to go off with an early guilty plea.
So I don't mind that. Like he's got a clean record. Why not?
He does. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, he's got an unblemished record.
Yeah.
And so just on that though, during the game, Michael Jennings actually moved to the other side of the field to try and contain that Addo-Carr and Justin Olam.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, and you got to give credit to Brad Arthur, who's sitting up in the coach's box going, "Oh my goodness, they're tearing us apart."
Wanga Blake and Ferguson are just not suited to each other. They just can't defend.
Well, there's been a lot of criticism of Wanga Blake.
Yeah.
Since this game.
Well,
yeah.
Yes, and the injuries coming out of that game, which is more than anywhere else. So
yeah. Well, it's interesting. They're saying that Munster's going to be hopefully right for the preliminary final.
Yeah. So Sivo's gone.
Yeah.
Ferguson's possibly
uncertain.
And the forward.
Who got injured? I don't.
Brown.
No. I will tell you.
Nakura's.
Nakura.
Right. Yeah. I'm wondering about this 2 weeks for the crusher tackle. I think it's really putting a hole in the games. Crushers are unfortunately very common. And for everyone to get 2 weeks, I think they've made their point. I reckon they should bring it back to a week.
I think
personally,
but there are some crushes that not intentional, but the players should know better, and other ones where they're backing into the defensive line and they fall. They're unintentional.
Well, how do they define that?
Because I think it's when you loop your arm over the top of the player.
Yep.
That's where they start to say, now you've got a problem.
Yeah, and you pull with your body weight down. Yeah. Anyway,
but, the thing that impressed me most was their speed. I mean, once they got a break, it was just see you later.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, Parramatta just couldn't keep up with them.
But I've got to say, I mean, the Parramatta were really stout. They stuck to the end.
Yep.
Gutherson, I know you don't like that he's there in Parramatta, but he just gives 150% every single week, doesn't he?
I mean, the thing, the difference between the two was, as I said, like Melbourne are all about speed and precision. Parramatta were looking for the big play. All the time. It was the big over the top pass, the flick out the back, and it killed them because 9 times out of 10 when they did that, they gave the ball away.
I think the second try was all brilliant hands from them, but they couldn't sustain it.
No, they ran out of gas. All right, let's go on to ANZ Stadium where the South Sydney Rabbitohs beat the Knights 46-20. Again, after the Knights led 14-0.
And you must have been sweating it, Steve.
And this was 14-0 after, 12 minutes?
And I think it was...
sweating it is not the word.
I think it was Tuala missed it. The ball Tuala went behind his head. There was a knock on. Yeah. And again, it's one of those contentious things where yes, you didn't secure the ball, but it went backwards. And it's such a contentious rule.
Yeah, but
anyway, but that was the turning point. It was interesting that kick-off. Well, this might have been before that. Kick-off. Cody Walker missed the ball and it went out.
Yep.
But straight after that. Adam Reynolds kicks a liner of a kick.
Is Adam Reynolds?
He is incredible. His kicking game is just sensational.
You're saying that was that was luck? He played for that.
I don't like the Rabbitohs, but I love Adam Reynolds. I think he's just a superb player.
Well,
he played for that.
Well, I'm loving Cody Walker at the moment. He's reminded me of those of the great off the cuff players of the past.
Because everyone keeps referring to him as Cliff Richards.
Cliff Lions, you bugger.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why you like him at the moment, because it's bringing back memories for you.
Oh, it is. I'm telling you. But you know what? That is fantastic way to play football.
Yeah.
You know, he's got.
It's certainly entertaining to watch.
Oh, and it's just dangerous. Dangerous.
The downside for South is if they let either even Parramatta or Penrith, if they beat Parramatta, get to 14-0 in front, they won't peg them back.
Yeah. The further along you go, the less tolerance you'll have for that kind of thing. Yeah.
So I think South are really going to have to start to get their head into gear with their defence.
Yeah.
Because they those 2 tries that Newcastle scored should never have been. The first one after 2 or not even 2 minutes.
Well, that came off an error.
It came off an error, but come on, you're going to defend your line tougher than that. You're fresh,
But that's also was the argument as well, is that the underdog teams were fresh and they scored their points early. They got out to a blistering start.
Yeah.
But it was the teams that could organise themselves that had the resilience were the ones that hung in there.
In this game, Newcastle had the game by the throat.
Yeah.
It's like in all the other games, apart from the Roosters game, because you nearly expected that they would come back because they're such a good team. But when it comes to Newcastle, I didn't expect that they would just let South start scoring.
Yeah.
And then once Corey Allen scored, it was just an error, I thought.
Yeah.
What was the actual possession stats at that time?
It was 52-48 to the Bunnies. And 78%, 75% completion
there was
on both
a
sides.
point at which, when South started scoring in the second half, in the first half, they scored 3 tries in about 7 minutes.
Yeah. Oh look, it was just one of those. Yeah, I don't know.
But there was a 10-minute period, and they showed it on Fox. And in that 10-minute period, Newcastle had not touched the ball.
Yep.
In 10 minutes of play,
and
South had scored 3 tries.
Yep.
Not touched the ball.
And even when they did, after that, they just gave it back to you.
It was interesting because.
But I think both weeks the Rabbitohs have broken the opposition spirit.
Yeah.
And once that happens, the team becomes a revolving door.
Interestingly enough, you referred to the point at which Cody Walker dropped the ball out. He put his head down and then jumped straight back up again. You have a look at Kalen Ponga when South scored their first try. His head's down and it stayed down. And it was almost, at that point, I thought, he looked resigned. I mean, they're 14-4 in front because Reynolds missed a conversion.
Yeah.
But he already looked resigned, whereas Cody Walker made a problem. Okay, bad boy, and he jumps up ready to go again.
I think the Rabbitohs have got belief that they've got points in them.
I
think the Knights have had such a patchy season, and the week before they got beaten by the Titans, fairly convincingly. I think they've struggled to maintain some self-belief, and I think they didn't have a lot of reserve.
Just in saying that, Kalen Ponga is apparently ruling himself out of Origin.
Is that
for
right?
shoulder surgery. Mitchell Pearce is busted.
Yeah.
They've had things go
back into
against
the
them.
season,
and they've had injuries even worse than the Roosters.
Well, the hooker position was a cursed position.
So, well done, Bunnies.
Yeah,
did well. All right.
And good on Adam O'Brien for getting the Knights into the finals.
Well done.
We're going to do the ladder?
There's a few things that we could talk about, but we won't.
The ladder.
You want to do the ladder?
No.
So let's go on to next week. There's only 2 games, gentlemen, next week.
Yep.
If I can get my little
Roosters
thing
v Raiders. At the
4 versus
SCG.
5, 3 versus 6.
So Friday night is Roosters versus Raiders, a
rematch.
Match.
Not replay. Well, let's hope it's a replay. But anyway, rematch. Yes.
the grand final.
And there is a suggestion that Cummings will get this game, even after he's 6 again. Even after he's 6 again with South.
No, but but he did the right thing. He called 6 again.
Yeah.
And then the touch judge says, no, it's a penalty because he was offside.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of confusion.
It was ridiculous.
I know. Look, I must admit, sorry, I should probably say, Tom actually sent me a couple of text messages in that game and said, "Oh man, Cummins is having a shocker," and I thought, you know what? But he's getting tips from the video ref and the touch judges.
So does it say who the ref's going to be with the South Parramatta game?
No, not yet. No. I just read earlier that
I'm dreading to think it's going to be,
no refs announced yet.
Sorry,
Sutton.
I don't mind Sutton. I'll take Sutton. I'll take Atkins. But
yeah.
No refs announced yet.
So, Jake, you should be back.
Is that Jake?
Jake Friend. There you go. Maybe Sonny if he earns his spot. Not sure.
I didn't bring anything for today. I'm feeling very naked now. I brought nothing.
I was cleaning up the room.
No, I don't want that. No. Actually, put that in front. That looked good in front of Tom.
Did it? Let me see. Yeah.
Anything would be an improvement. I know that.
I tell you what.
Good heads for radio.
Roosters looking tired.
Yep.
And I'm not convinced on the Raiders either. I don't know who to pick this one. I really don't.
Look, the only thing is, they've had to play week after week after week. Yes, they're tired, but surely other teams are tired as well. The Roosters showed at the end of the game that they were not going to give up on this premiership drive, and they just showed the character that I know the Roosters have. So I think that they'll be in it up to their ears. I think that they won't give it away easily. But I do think that it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually leaning towards the Roosters, but I'm going to go the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Joyo Stadium.
It's not.
No, it's Sydney Cricket Ground.
Sydney Cricket Ground. Sorry.
I think with the controversy of the game last week for the Raiders and the rematch event.
I think they'll cheat again.
The rematch event with the Roosters, I just think that Ricky Stewart will have them so fired up.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. They're still smarting from last year.
So I'm just. It's going to be tight. I'm going to go the Raiders by 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I have to pick one, I'd probably be picking the Raiders as well.
Yeah, I'm not doing any confidence.
No.
We do have to take one because we've got a footy tip in confidence.
I don't think the Raiders have been convincing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think either.
And I think the fact that the Roosters were able to come back to within a point of the premiership favourites, I think was a big effort. Now, whether it took too much out of them, that will remain to be seen.
Jake Friend, in or out? Do we know?
Oh, he's going to be in.
He's going to be in.
He was
just spoken to Robinson.
Well, I think he said in the press conference, he said, Jake, if he's fit, will be back. There's no reason why not. Sonny Bill, don't know. It depends on whether he gets in on form.
No. Well, I spoke to Ricky, and Ricky said, Big Pappy is going to big time smash the Roosters.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't be playing Sonny Bill. I think this is too important a game to have a 35-year-old running around who's just...
I think Sonny Bill only needs 2 or 3 really brilliant touches to earn his spot on the game.
Well, he didn't have any the other night.
No, I mean he does some useful things, but nothing spectacular. Nothing you expect of Sonny Bill.
Hang on, when I said he was dropped because his form was poor, why don't you just come out and say that? You said, he's been growing great.
I thought he was been going all right.
Now you're saying he's got to earn his spot.
Because that's what the commentators are saying, that he has to earn his spot.
Okay.
And I don't pretend to be as knowledgeable as them.
So let's go on then to Bankwest Stadium on the Saturday night where the Bunnies are playing the Eels.
Yes, at Bankwest.
At Bankwest.
Yep. You'd expect a Rabbitohs victory given the amount of points. It's do or die for the Eels, obviously, and they're going to miss those. We're going to miss at least one of them, but I think probably Ferguson probably won't be playing. Don't know who they bring in. That's the problem.
Well, Ferguson hasn't been playing that well.
No.
Anyway.
and they're going to bring an untried person in for the second semi-final.
Oh, they're talking about bringing Jamin Salmon into the centres and Jennings out to the wing.
Well, I tell you what, if they've got to do something with Wonga Blake because his defence has been very average.
And everybody knows it.
And Adam Reynolds and Cody Walker will just hammer that side.
Sure.
Well, I will say that this is going to be a Rabbitohs carver.
No, I don't think.
I will go that far. I don't think Parramatta. When was the last time they won a game? I mean, seriously.
Well, they beat the Tigers last week.
Yeah, before that,
I get it.
I mean, they've been stumbling from loss to loss. They get a win against the Tigers going into the semis. Brad Arthur says we've turned the corner. Yeah. They get thumped by Melbourne. Now they've copped injuries.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, people have started saying yes, but they're at home. They're at Bank West. But South beat them 38-0 at Bank West.
No, look,
6 weeks ago.
I'm honestly thinking Souths will win this by 20. I do not think that
easily
will be in the game.
Could easily happen. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Janelle. I really like semis because it's the best games of the year.
Yeah,
but I can't see it.
I think you are going to win this game, and I think if you're playing Melbourne on the other side, you're not. But if you're playing Melbourne on the other side, I think you'd be in the grand final because I think they're really looking very.
Souths win this one. They play Penrith.
I know they do, and that'll be a real test.
It'll be great to see Cody Walker and Reynolds against
Cleary and
Luai.
Yeah, let's hope for that one.
Interestingly enough, where I live, I think I told you before, there's a few houses with flags out the front.
That's right.
So I've got my South flag out the front because the guy over the road said, you've got to put a flag out, so I did that. But he's a Parramatta supporter.
Yeah.
And right next door to me on the other side is a Penrith supporter.
The two-storey house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So knew I liked the bloke.
so we battle it out. He's just sitting back waiting for us to smash each other. It's quite interesting the way it's worked out.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the round of 2 games coming up next week, gentlemen. That's it.
Yes.
We're almost at the end.
I know.
It'll be sad.
It is. When do we start talking about Origin?
Next week.
Okay.
Brian, please.
I just thought I'd add this.
Is that actually a Philadelphia Eagles mask?
I've got absolutely no idea. I just know that it's an eagle and it sits well on.
We didn't mention the fact that Wayne Bennett's
we don't have eagles like that in Australia.
Wayne Bennett's going to be coaching the Maroons this year, just 1 year.
Wayne Bennett.
What did I say?
Yeah.
I don't know what is it.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you questioned me. Wayne Bennett's coaching the Maroons this season only. And they're going to pick another coach for next year.
He'll get it next year as well.
Yeah, if he wants it.
If he wants it, he wants it.
So what do we think about that?
Don't care.
I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm. Lots
South started winning when he actually went out of the bubble.
Well, lots has been said about Brad Fittler and the lack of players that he's added to the Origin squad at this point in time. So I think there's
he's only adding them from the teams that have
been eliminated. And I'm thinking, what do you want? Because obviously the 6 teams that are left are the best 6 teams and have been the best 6 teams all year.
Well, surely that's the argument of why he hasn't added many names.
I know.
He's waiting for those teams.
But and then people are saying, well, he's left out Clemmer, he's left out Wade Graham, and I'm going, yeah.
Yeah, but they haven't been playing.
Well, Clemmer's been playing. I think I would feel for Clemmer. I think he's been one of the better props all year.
I think he's been underperforming lately.
But I'm telling you, like those people who are saying that Freddie needs to go because he's not sticking loyal, man. You know what? Let's take the philosophy we pick the players who are going to be playing.
Yes.
The one question I have over it is he's picked Cameron McGuinness. Now, I'm presuming he's looking at him as a bench. You've got 27 players you can pick.
Yeah.
So he's kept his selections very small until after that.
Yeah.
But you got Cameron McGuinness. Why didn't you put Appy in there?
Because Appy's still playing.
Correct, because Appy's still playing. So you're going to want him, and you'll still have Cook. Cook will be the first one.
Yeah.
So we're really going to go into State of Origin with 3 hookers.
Well,
McGuinness has played lock all year.
He's played lock.
But he's not the best lock going around. I mean, Mario will pick him at lock. Yeah. Tom Travojevic will beat him at lock.
Or Jake.
Jake.
Yeah.
So here's the one I question. And I think he's a great player. I love him, but
up until this week, though, I think Appy's been the best hooker, and Cook's been a half a step behind.
Yeah, I agree.
And Cook's amazing.
Cook stepped up.
But are you not going to pick Cook?
No. I'm just saying, like, you're not going to take but 2 hookers into the match. But I would be perfectly happy.
But he's going to take 3.
But I'd be happy if McGuinness was on the bench.
No, I can't even find a place.
Who's going to kick off?
That's the point. I can't even find a place on the bench for him. Yeah. Tell you what, next week, come with your State of Origin teams.
All right, hear that out there, people. State of Origin teams next week.
We're going to have something to talk about.
I know, with 2 games. And one of them's going to be a blowout.
Have all of Sunday to look at the form of the last 2 games.
Tom will take up 25 minutes explaining why the Roosters were the better team and still lost. Steve will be going, we won by 40, and the game will be over. The season will be over.
And then we'll be talking about how Souths are going to beat Penrith.
Taylor Swift.
That won't happen.
Okay. Mike, they're due for a loss. Penrith,
they did lose. They lost once this year.
Yeah, they're due for another one. Bradley, help me. Anyway, all right. We're going to end the show. Anything intelligent you want to end with?
No.
It's lucky.
You're going to say go the Eagles?
I can't.
You can't. Tom, anything you want to end?
Rest up, Battler boys.
That just makes me so angry.
And you say it every week.
It just gets under my skin.
Rest up, Rooster boys.
This is NRL from the sidelines. You've been watching. This is Tom, Brian and Steve, and we'll do it all again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Ciao.